Okay, so 3 weeks ago, I ran the 2026 Boston Marathon in 2 hours and 58 minutes, which is a new course record for me, but still a ways off of where I wanted to be time-wise. That being said, I still had the best weekend, and in today's video, I'm gonna take you guys behind the scenes of what Boston Marathon weekend is like and show you what happened on race day morning that cost me a few minutes on my time. So before we dive in, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Juliana, and I started this YouTube channel to showcase how I balance everything in my life from marathon training to working a full-time job and growing my small sugar-free granola startup, Juju's Foods. So if you're interested in following along with my journey, make sure to hit that bell button down below and subscribe to the channel. So without further ado, let's hop into the vlog. So this is it, the final shakeout run in Florida before Boston. I am so incredibly excited, but very nervous for race weekend. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm just trying to keep the vibes positive, which is honestly, you guys know me if you've been following the channel for a while, but I really don't care too much about time. I just love the process of training, running every day. It helps me so much with my ADHD, my mental health. And I'm just excited to have a place where I can go and celebrate that all in one weekend with a bunch of other crazy people. I'm just doing 4 miles, about 30 minutes easy, and then I gotta head home, pack it up, and get to the airport. Also, I typically have like a little sweat rag with me while I run, like when I'm wearing a shirt like this, that like I cannot lift up to wipe the sweat off my face, and I totally forgot my little sweat rag. So this is the situation. Light perspiration. Okay, we are currently on the way to Palm Beach Airport. So it's been a little bit of a hectic morning. It always is with travel, but it is so insanely hot and humid in Florida this morning. It's like 80 degrees and it's not even 9 a.m. So I was kind of dying on my run, and I was like, how am I supposed to run 2 minutes faster than this for 26.2 miles when I can barely survive like 4 miles at 8:30 pace? So we'll see how it goes. Calvin, my chauffeur and partner, is here. So he always supports all of my races, which makes me really, really happy. So it's always wonderful to have company. But yeah, I'm getting excited, I'm getting a little nervous, and I'm going to take you guys around so you can see the behind the scenes of race weekend. Okay, so we have officially made it to Boston. I am so excited. Calvin is here scarfing away all of the chocolates right next to me. Calvin is also carb loading.
Oh my god.
What? Yeah, it's a strawberry.
Oh, we gotta eat these then.
Yeah, what did you think it was?
Or it's gonna go bad. I don't know.
It's kind of chilly here. I'm not used to weather below 75 degrees, so this has been a little bit of a shock. It's currently 3:30 p.m. pretty much, so we gotta get going. Okay, so the Expo was madness as usual, but nothing to report back, honestly, in terms of shopping, unfortunately. But on our way out, we saw this treadmill setup with this pink-haired lady running. Even though I couldn't really see anything, I was like hopping up and down. But I had no idea what was going on, and it turns out it was actually this woman named Ashley Paulson who was trying to break the 100-mile treadmill record, which she ended up doing, and she smashed the world record by 90 minutes, which is so insane. So I wish that I had known that so we could actually witness it. That was so, so cool. The rest of the day, we just walked around Newberry Street and did a little shopping before heading back to the hotel and reuniting with my parents, and then heading out to dinner with friends. Good morning. It is almost 8 a.m. here in Boston. It is Sunday, the day before the race. I slept in so late because my sleep this week has been so chaotic, so I just didn't really set an alarm. Calvin is actually sitting next to me right here. So we're both drinking our coffee, trying to get ready for the day. So yesterday when Calvin and I went to the Expo, I got these new little microphones, like literally brand new, for my camera. So I could have 2 little microphones that are kind of like cheap-ish that I wouldn't mind losing. And then we're walking around the expo. I have the 2 little microphones attached to my camera that I'm recording on right now. And Calvin was...
They're magnetic.
Yeah, Calvin was little cameraman. He was a little B-roll cameraman. Now we have to share a microphone, but we're... Oh, my... So we're walking around and Calvin is literally like, oh, these things are so fun to play with. And then one of them just like popped off and literally just disappeared into thin air.
Well, there was like hundreds of people walking around us, and then it was just like, impossible to find.
It's highly magnetic. So if there's like any sort of magnetic object anywhere, is this magnetic? This is not magnetic.
It's metal.
Maybe this is magnetic. No, this is not magnetic either.
So I guess it's not that highly magnetic.
Anyway, so Calvin's like, oh, just like a little kid. He's like, oh, this is fun to play with. And then, boop, just literally gone. And so there were like multiple people going by with like wheelchairs and canes and like, I don't know, all this stuff. And we think that the thing just like popped off and just like launched itself onto a wheelchair. So then we were walking around and Calvin was like aggressively inspecting every single person's wheelchair. They were like looking at him like, what are you doing? So anyway, now we have to share a microphone. So anything to say? With that being said, we're gonna try to get ourselves together here. Shakeout run was good, felt good. I usually do about 20 minutes and then a couple minutes at the end with a little bit of marathon pacing just so I can see how it feels. And I always do that shakeout run in my super shoes as well. I know that it's a little frowned upon, but I like to do a little bit of core work before my race. I always do core work before all of my long runs. And it feels totally fine. Okay, I'm just quickly putting on some makeup so I don't look like a troll as I walk around Boston. But I'm very, very excited because, well, first of all, I'm getting pancakes, which I never really eat pancakes because they kind of make me feel a little woozy sometimes, but it is carb load season. So that's what I'm about to do. But we're just having brunch here at the hotel. And then I'm very excited because my high school cross-country coach, who is such an amazing person and just influence on my life, is running the marathon this weekend. We've stayed in touch through the years and she was awesome. So yeah, I'm gonna quickly try and get ready and then my mom is gonna come hang out with me. My mom also has severe ADHD, so she said she would be here an hour ago and she's still not here and her room is 2 doors down. So anyway, we're just gonna walk around the mall now because it's raining out. So not ideal weather to go to any of the pop-ups and I don't feel like standing in a big long line in the rain. But I was trying to find my hotel key and then I found the extra microphone. So we're good. Now I can mic Calvin up so he can give some commentary. So we finally made it out of the mall and headed to a few more stores on Newbury Street. But then I needed to head back and get all of my stuff ready for the race the next day. I was having a full-fledged Juliana moment in the hotel room when I realized that my bib was literally larger than my shirt. So I was looking at past races to see how big the bib was in comparison. And then I also FaceTimed one of my best friends, Maddie, to get her opinion and then also pray that her speed would translate via phone osmosis to me for race day since she wasn't running Boston that year. But she provided some solid advice, which was basically to just go for it. And then also to not repin my bib on my shirt while I was at the starting line, which is what I did in Chicago this past year. So after that, we headed to dinner and just chilled at the hotel. And I tried my very best to relax and get to bed early. But honestly, I didn't really end up sleeping much because I was so nervous and excited for the race. Okay, so the morning of the Boston Marathon was a total blur, and honestly, a lot happened that I feel like is going to be way too much for me to cover in one video. So I did write an entire blog post where I break down everything in detail. If you're interested in checking that out, make sure to check the link in the description down below, and you can read all of the lovely details of my 2026 Boston Marathon race recap. But effectively, I woke up and as I went to go prepare my morning coffee and get my pre-race breakfast ready, which is Cheerios with almond milk and a banana, I realized that where I had been storing my almond milk and the oat milk was in a hotel bar fridge, and it probably wasn't at a safe temperature because when I went to go grab both of those milks, they were warm. So I decided to just chance it with the oat milk because I'm stupid. But with the almond milk, I had to consume a large quantity because I kind of like a lot with my Cheerios. So I was like, there's no way that I'm going to be eating so much of this when it's literally like hot. So I had to hunt down almond milk in the hotel for like 20 minutes, and finally I found it. But that entire situation made me leave the hotel much later than I had planned. And we were only staying like a 15-minute walk away from the Boston Commons, so it wasn't that big of a deal.
What not to do on marathon day.
Leave your hotel at the exact time that you're supposed to be loading the bus.
What to do. Wear this.
They look just like Cheek. Hi.
But the bus situation this year was literally insane, and it took an hour for me to load the bus by the time I got to the Commons, and then another hour to actually get to the Start Village. So by the time I got to the Start Village in Hopkinton, I basically just had time to use the porta potty, eat my Cliff Bar really quickly, and then go run to the starting corral to walk over to the starting line. So when I started out the race, literally in like the first mile, my quads were just completely seizing up because I wasn't just used to that kind of like of the downhill. So that sucked. I knew it was going to be a tough race, and I actually was feeling really good race morning, the night before, going into the race, and then as I started out that first mile, I was just like, shoot, I should have trained downhill more. And I wish that I had. So next year, I'm gonna put that up here. But honestly, that was the least of my worries during the race. So I was aiming for around 6:35, 6:40 pace. So my legs were just kind of suffering from the beginning. And I wanted to split around the half at like 128. And I think I was around 128.50 or so. By the time I got to the halfway point, I was actually starting to feel really good. I was starting to get some of the race day energy, even though my legs were totally shot. I was like, you know what? I can do this. And I just wanted to keep going. It was great weather. It was great vibes, energy. I was like, I can do this. And I tried to pick it up to maybe sub 6:40 pace or so. And then around mile 17, that is when disaster struck. I had a sudden and immediate urge to go use the bathroom, which I think may have been caused by consuming the effectively spoiled oat milk from that morning with my coffee. I saw this porta potty at mile 17. I passed it thinking that I could hold it. Got to mile 17 and a half. I saw my life flash before my eyes. I was like, there is no way that I'm going to be able to make it another step without a porta potty in sight. So I was scanning around all of these buildings and trying to see, is there anything that's possibly open, or is there a house that I could run into to just use their bathroom? But then this magical porta potty appeared around mile 18, and I just dashed in. There wasn't any toilet paper, which was unfortunate, so I had to use a random scrap of paper that I found on the ground, and then I dashed out, and the whole thing cost me about a minute and a half or so. But after that, I knew that I was going to be pretty far off of my goal time, so I had to adjust what my goal was. And I wasn't motivated to completely gun it to the end of the race when I knew that I would probably fall short of my goal. So I instead adjusted my goal. I wanted to try to at least get a course PR. And if I wasn't able to get a course PR, if things kind of just fell apart at the end, I would at least try to just go for another sub 3. And if that didn't work out, I wanted to at least finish the race with a smile on my face.
That was a run.
And I'm happy to say that I did all 3 of those things. I had my course PR, I went sub 3, and I finished the race with a smile on my face. So I really just focused on having fun. I knew that I wasn't going to be really killing myself to finish this race because I was so far off of my time that I wanted to achieve, and it just wasn't possible anymore with that bathroom stop. So I instead tried to spot every single photographer that I could. I tried to smile, wave, take pictures, and really just try to kind of pose, which I normally never do in races, but I just needed something to focus on to get me through it because I was really just feeling down. And I think honestly, the act of just like smiling and being positive and readjusting my goal really helped me finish the race strong and finish the race happy, because I honestly, when I did finish, I was a little bit disappointed in my 2:58 time, since you guys know, if you have been following along with my channel, that I wanted to go sub 2:55. And if you think about it, I guess I would have been at around like 2:56 without the bathroom stop, but still, your time is your time. And I was just a little bit annoyed. But now that I've had time to recover and reflect and think about what I could do differently for next year's Boston Marathon, I have learned the lesson that Florida heat and humidity is no substitute for the strain that your leg muscles go through when you are running downhill on a course as hilly as Boston. And really, the only way that you can use those downhills to your advantage is if you know how to work them and you are trained to run hills, which I completely wasn't because I neglected everything. So it was another tough Boston. I've only had one good Boston Marathon race where I felt awesome, and that was 4 years ago. So I should probably fix something. But anyway, I do have a whole recovery vlog coming, and I do want to reiterate that I am very happy with my results, and I honestly don't even care about the results, as you guys know if you've been following along with my channel for a while. It's really just about the training, which I love so much, and running and the community and being able to share my experience with everyone, which is something that's kind of new for me. So with that being said, there will be a recovery vlog coming soon. So please make sure to hit that bell button down below and subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in my next video, and thank you so much for being here.